This is my compressor cabinet, and before this I had a hook on the door that I used to hang the hose from. As you can see here, I'm just hanging it from the handle. So I want to make a new hook to go there. And I could make this very basic like the last one, which was just a stick actually screwed onto the face of the door. But I figure it might be worthwhile to make a fancier one, because you can make a bunch of these to hang coats from and whatnot. And I'm just going to freehand draw the classic shape of a hook on here. And this has what I guess you could call a major hook up on top and then a smaller one below. I could probably get 2 hooks out of this one piece of wood if I were to make it a little bit smaller. But I only need one for now. And what I'm going to do with this is actually trace around it on a piece of paper and save it for future use, because I really like the way this thing is going to be shaped, even though I'm just shaping it here now in the video. I have the future on my side because I've already finished this. Anyway, I'm just using common things that I have around the workshop to draw this out. Not getting too fancy with it. I know basically how big the thing needs to be. And like I said, it's the classic hook shape that you see, or that you used to see in schools before they started hanging up kids off of them. And now you have to have fancy collapsible ones that cost 20 times as much, rather than throwing those rotten kids that hang up other kids in reform school like they used to do when I was a kid. But that's the way of the world these days. Anyway, after I'm satisfied with the shape, there's a hole I can drill here, and that's the inside of the minor hook. So I'll do that on the drill press using a 1-inch bit. And then I'll bring it over to the bandsaw and I'll cut it out. And then it's over to my spindle sander where I can sand those curves nice and smooth. And get into the corners with my strip sander. Before wheeling out my new router table and rounding the whole thing over. Of course, I'm not going to round over the part where it mounts on the door and leave that flat. And then this is maple and it burns easily, so I've got a little bit of sanding to do on this. I know this is just a shop project, so it really doesn't matter. But I want it to look good for the photo that I'm going to put in the thumbnail to make it attractive for people to click on. So I made a couple of these flap sanders a few years ago, and I've used them only a couple times since then, but I think this is a perfect opportunity to try the smaller one out. And of course there are areas here that flap sander won't reach, so I'm going to have to do those by hand. I could use a Dremel with a little sanding drum in there, but in the time it takes me to get that and find the sanding drum and hook it up and all that stuff, I can have it sanded by hand. And then for a finish on this, I'm going to spray paint it purple. I had you going there for a second, didn't I? I'm just going to give this a coat of clear finish. This is water-based polyurethane that I'm just wiping on. I'll let that dry, I'll lightly sand it with fine sandpaper, and then I'll give it another coat before mounting it on the door. Anyway, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want a copy of the template for this hook, it's available on my website, and there's a link in the description. I'll bring it right there, and you can download it and print it off and make your own beautiful wooden hooks.